Russian interference in the elections, and of course interference is being used very loosely here. Thank you, Roger, for coming on the show, and I truly mean it when I say that the man shaped politics in my lifetime. From Reagan to Bush to Trump. The man was there for it all. So thank you, Roger, for coming on the show. Folks, we are way past halftime on the show, but we still got to do the plugs. I want to thank everybody for listening. Check us out at www.behindenemylinesradio.us. Check us out on the Facebooks and the Twitters at BEL_radio. And if you miss any part of the show that we normally do live on Spreaker, you can check us out at any one of our rebroadcast outlets, including WJHC 107.5 FM Jasper, Florida, WDDQ 92.1 FM Adel, Georgia, WLBB 1330 AM in Carrollton, Georgia, all part of the Red Nation Rising Radio Network. You can also check us out at KLRN Radio online. Great to have you guys with us as well. High Plains Talk Radio and Sackheads Media. We always love our people from Texas. Thank you for tuning into the show. Also, ICRN, the Internet's conservative radio network, and Lanterns Radio. Check them out, folks, at lanterns.buzz, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks out there. You'll be glad you did. But if you missed any part of the rebroadcasts that air at various times during the week, you can also check us out as a podcast. We're available on Spreaker, iTunes, Player FM, Podbay, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, which is absolutely amazing that we're on there. You can discover us on Google Play Music and, of course, on SoundCloud. And also shout out to one of our newest podcast outlets, I should say, Auto Radio, part of Sirius XM's beta for podcasting. Check us out on there as well. They're brand new. And you might find some other shows on there you like as well. Folks, we're going to be wrapping up the show a little bit. I want to get to some domestic stuff here, of course. Of course, as an attorney, I couldn't be happier to see Neil Gorsuch confirmed as our newest Associate Justice to the Supreme Court of the United States. What an honor and what a great selection. It's a shame it had to come to that nuclear option, though, that we talked about on the show. The killing of the filibuster for Supreme Court judicial nominees. It was coming, folks. November 21st, 2013 is a date I want you all to remember. Because that's the day that Harry Reid decided to first use the nuclear option, the so-called nuclear option, on other nominees that were up for the Trump administration that were being filibustered by the Republicans. Once that rubric was crossed, once that Rubicon was crossed, there was no turning back. This was inevitable that for Supreme Court judicial nominees, you were going to see a up and down vote by a straight majority. And this is why elections matter, folks. The arrogance and hubris of Democrats in thinking that they could use this option and then criticize Republicans for doing the same thing, absolutely ludicrous. I'm having even trouble putting my words together, as you can hear, just by even discussing this. To me, folks, this was a no-brainer by Mitch McConnell. And I know we like to have fun with Mitch McConnell and wonder where he's been or anything, but man, oh man, kudos to the Senate Republicans for actually showing some huevos. They finally said, we're the majority. We're going to start acting like a majority. You're the minority, and you need to start acting like a minority. You can try to make deals, but your out-and-out opposition based on partisanship and not based on substance has to stop. Neil Gorsuch was one of the most qualified jurists in the nation. Hands down. I'm tired of hearing about the stolen seat nonsense about Merrick Garland. Go back to 1992 and look what former chairman of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate and eventual Vice President Joe Biden said about nominations done during an election cycle. You'll be very surprised to hear that many of those arguments were the arguments used by Republicans in stopping Merrick Garland's nomination in trying to steal a seat, in my opinion. There was no stolen seat here. People voted. I know this for a fact because I'm one of those people. People voted for President of the United States in 2016 based upon who was going to be selecting Supreme Court justices for the next 4 and possibly 8 years. I did not want to see a liberal Supreme Court for the next generation, for the next 20 years. Didn't want to see it. That's why I voted for Donald Trump. I am not ashamed to say that was my primary reason for voting for Donald Trump. That being said, every other argument you hear about Neil Gorsuch was just bunk. And I want to use a stronger word on the radio, but FCC and all that. Let's be honest. The man was in the majority for a decade in his circuit. 2,700 decisions, 97% of the time, he was with the majority. The man was a brilliant writer, a brilliant jurist. His philosophy on the law and government and the separation of powers is what you need on the highest court in the land. And frankly, his pedigree and education should be beyond reproach. They brought up this last-minute thing about plagiarism in a paper he wrote back in the 80s. And even the author, who people were claiming was plagiarized, was saying, nah, it's not so bad. It's not plagiarism. Especially when you're writing about facts of a case, and you can't really rephrase and reframe facts to avoid plagiarism, quote unquote, according to this author. So you know what? There you go. Another case of there you go. Neil Gorsuch, a great pick. Final thought time here on the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. Next week, got another great show coming up. You know what? I got to get back to this whole missile attack. And I got to be honest, for me, it feels like Donald Trump did the right thing here. Obviously, it had to be a gut-wrenching decision. You know what? We're dealing with sick people in the world, evil tyrants like Assad. The Donald Trump administration, they sent a message that we need to hold people accountable. We cannot stand idly by and let evil go forth in the world and kill innocents. That's what it comes down to. And if you don't believe that it is our place in the world to call out evil and be a check against evil, I'm not just talking about political expediency or political opportunity. I'm talking about evil in the world. Certain things are black and white, folks. Using chemical weapons against your own people, there's no gray area about it. If that doesn't deserve a response, nothing will. We were lied to by the previous administration, or they were just so incompetent that they actually believed that Syria eliminated their chemical weapons program. What does this mean for us for the nuclear program with Iran? What does this mean for us with a check against North Korea? So many things that we need to find the answer to about this previous administration. But until we get those answers, we are left groping in the dark, and our leader, Donald Trump, is going to be bringing some sunshine around the world. And we're not going to allow human rights violations, murder, enslavement, torture. We're not going to let these things happen anymore. The sheriff is back. Look out, world. Here comes America again. That's my final thought for the show. I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. I want to thank Roger Stone for coming on the show. I want to thank Gerald Gross for helping me out with that interview. Man, did he do a great job. Looking forward to doing more interviews at the office with him. And, of course, Russ is going to be back very soon. The internet situation will be fixing itself within the next 2 weeks, folks. Russ will be back very soon. Russ, we miss you. We love you. We want you back on the show as soon as possible, brother. But until then, it's time to shut this sucker down. From the People's Republic of New York, folks, this is Behind Enemy Lines, Gene Baradelli saying good night, God bless, and we are out of here. Good night, folks.
Our position has been compromised. It's time to roll out. Report for debriefing at www.behindenemylinesradio.us and look for regular communications via Facebook and Twitter at BEL_radio. You are the resistance. Behind Enemy Lines. A rock radio production. Back in 7 days. Out.